Hello, my name is Kimmy. Welcome back to my channel. So this video I'm going to talk about Ellis lifeguard training and on-the-job training for being a lifeguard at Disney World. Now, I was a lifeguard at Wilderness Lodge from May 2018 through May 2019. So I've been posting videos from my Disney College program, and I said I would make a whole separate video talking about Ellis lifeguard training and on-the-job training. So that's what this is. So let's just jump right in. There's a lot to go over. There's a lot of little details that I want to give you. So yeah, let's just go. So first, I want to give you like an overview of the schedule, everything that has happened until this point, what needs to happen before you can actually start lifeguard training. So I had check-in, drug and alcohol testing, and casting all on the same day, Monday, May 14th. The drug and alcohol testing is only for some roles, and obviously if you're not doing the Disney College program, you don't have to check in, but I just want to give you like a little timeline and everything so we know where we're at. I also have a whole video of my check-in day, so if you want to watch that, get more details about casting and all that fun stuff, I did that. Next, the lifeguard swim test at Mickey's Retreat was Wednesday, May 16th for me, so it was 2 days after check-in, and I also have a video talking about all of those details you could also go watch. And then traditions, the first day of being an actual cast member, first day of actually getting pay was Friday, May 18th for me, and then the very next day started my 3 days of Ellis lifeguard training. It was Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of the week. And then after my Ellis lifeguard training, I had 2 off days, and then I had Welcome to Operations and Welcome to Recreation on Thursday, May 24th, which I also have a video talking about, but honestly there's really not much to talk about. It's just 2 orientation classes. And then I had my first day of resort training, which was Wilderness Lodge Frontiers, Welcome to Wilderness Lodge, whatever you want to call it, and that was right after Welcome to Ops and Welcome to Rec on Friday, May 25th. Then another off day. Then I had 2 days of on-the-job training at Wilderness Lodge, Sunday, May 27th and Monday, May 28th. Then another off day, and then my KAPA, which is the final day of on-the-job training. It's your test out. And I also had IST that morning, but I'll talk about that later. And that was Wednesday, May 30th for me. So that is the timeline. Hopefully that gave you a little visual of where these 2 training things fall in your Disney orientation 3-week period kind of thing. You know? Okay, great. Are we still here? Are we still with me? Are you bored yet? Sorry. Okay. Now, Ellis lifeguard training. I'm going to tell you everything that I remember from the 3 days of Ellis lifeguard training. There's a lot of like little detail stuff that I want to give you, so just buckle in. Here we go. Day 1. It was 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a lunch break in the middle, kind of whenever we finished the first part of our required lessons, I guess you want to call it. Since I had Ellis in May, we had the first part of the day in the pool, and then after lunch in the afternoon we were inside in the classroom. So I actually wrote down everything that we did when I got home from those days, so I have that. So I'm just gonna like rattle it off. This is everything we went over day 1, and obviously this might have changed since it's been a little bit of time since I did it, but here we go. Are you ready? We went over the history of Jeff Ellis management, and then we watched a video called Touched by a Drowning, which is a very bold way to start a lifeguard training class, because they kick you into gear real quick. They like kind of scare you into it almost. They make you think that anybody could die on your watch, which in theory is true, but I guess it's just their way of like trying to make you pay attention. Oops. But like that was a shock to the system at like 8 a.m. on a Sunday. Just be like, somebody might die on your watch, so you better pay attention. But it's fine. Don't be freaked out. Okay. Then after that video, we went outside into the pool and started practicing our basic lifeguard saves. So if you're scanning, you see somebody struggling, you jump in. How do you save them? How do you put somebody on your tube? Oh, and also deep water lifeguards and shallow water lifeguards were separated during this time so we could practice it in the shallow end, and they could practice it in the deep end without being able to touch the bottom of the pool. Then we went over scanning, EAP, which is Emergency Action Plan, and we went over like the proper order of things to do when you see somebody. You blow a whistle, you point, you jump in, all that fun stuff. And then that was the first half of day 1, and then we had a lunch break. We did have to clock out for lunch. Okay, and then after lunch, the classroom portion, we went over rescue breathing and CPR, which we did over and over and over again to really get it in your brain, make sure sure you know all the right counts, all the right stuff to do. And we did practice with partners, and then we did practice with bobs, which are like the half up, like mannequin things that you could practice CPR on, you know what I'm talking about?
No, Rose, they are not breathing, and they have no arms or legs. First I was afraid, I was petrified.
And they also gave us worksheets, baby. I love a good worksheet, especially when I don't know anything, like I don't have any previous knowledge on it, because I never was a lifeguard before Ellis, and they really pack as much information as possible into these 3 days. I don't think I've ever learned anything this quickly or learned so much information in such a short period of time. It was a lot, but they did teach it really, really well. It was overwhelming. They did have you practice it multiple times, and yeah. So, worksheets that helped you study and retain information. This was like a packet sort of thing. And that was basically day one, very basic. For me, it was overwhelming and a lot of new information, and I was trying to like be perfect at it right away. I am very, very grateful. I had Bethany, my roommate, who is also a lifeguard and been lifeguarding for like a long time. She was my partner for most of it, and she really like helped me and guided me through it. So that's a tip. Try and find a buddy, find a friend that knows what they're doing. Okay, how are we doing? Day one, good. Any questions? Are we good? Amazing. Okay, day two, again, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with lunch break. We did pool stuff in the morning, classroom stuff in the afternoon. Now this day we learned how to backboard, which was like a wild concept to me. We spent the whole morning going over rapid extrications and spinal extrications. Rapids and spinals for short. Oh my goodness. So there's a lot of steps in both of these extrications to make sure you do it right. So like I was really trying to pay attention. I was really trying. There's so many like little details, from like how you hold people's arms to like not jumping in the water for a spinal to not like make waves to like hurt. There's like a lot of stuff. You're like learning this stuff in the water with somebody talking at you, so it's a very hands-on learning experience. But if you're used to like being able to like take notes and write stuff down, you won't be able to do that until later. And then we had lunch. That was the whole morning learning rapids and spinals. Then in the afternoon we went over trauma bags, AED, oxygen tank. There was a first aid like PowerPoint of like what happens if somebody has a heat stroke, what do you do if somebody has a heart attack on the pool deck, like all those possible things that could happen. They tried to prepare you as much as possible, but obviously you could spend weeks preparing for like any possible first aid situation, so that was just kind of a short portion of it. We spent most of that afternoon going over CPR and rescue breathing with the trauma bags. We did it in partners, we did it by ourselves, we did it in groups. Like you would be with the bob doing a scenario, and then your team would be on the other side, and then they couldn't help you until like 2 or 3 minutes passed, and then you had to tell them what was happening, how they could help, all that fun stuff. And then I don't know if they did this first day or second day, but they went over VATS, which is Vigilance Awareness Test, and it's like the weirdest looking thing. It's like a little piece of cloth that has a black side and like a tannish side that's supposed to simulate somebody underwater, and you're supposed to be able to see it within 10, get it within 20, and they went over that because that is a major part of both the Ellis KAPA and the on-the-job training KAPA. So that is basically all of day one and day two of Ellis lifeguard training. I hope this is being helpful. I hope I'm giving enough information in detail. So day 3 was the KAPA. I studied a good bit the night before. I wasn't too nervous or stressed about it. A lot of people were. Can you hear that? There's somebody mowing grass outside. I'm gonna keep going. Sorry if you can hear that. So yeah, KAPA, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. like always. I remember they started the day by like reviewing everything, answering questions. They dedicated like probably 30 minutes to like making sure we were all good to go. And the first part of our KAPA was on the pool deck, and this portion was basically what would happen if Ellis came to audit you at work. This is what would happen if you were actually lifeguarding at your resort or water park and Ellis came and they put you through this like test. For us, we had a pretty big group. We split the pool long ways, so each side would have like a shallow end and a deep end. We were separated into groups, which we had from the day before, and one group would go at a time. The group going was like sent out of the pool deck, so the rest of the group could help the trainer like set up the test. So like the trainer would be like, so you're gonna drop a vat here, you're gonna pretend to drown here, and like stuff like that. So you are involved in both testing other people and being tested. So then the group that's going comes back back in, they scan in, and then like whatever happens happens. Sometimes before you could even scan in, there would already be a vat going, or there would already be somebody struggling. So right when you step on that pool deck, something could be happening. So like say my group was going and I like got a vat, then I would jump back out, scan back in, somebody else probably did something, saved someone. It would always end with somebody needing to be extricated from the pool on a backboard. Usually like there were 2 or 3 things that happened, and then somebody needed to be backboarded, because Ellis needs to test you from like backboarding all the way through rescue breathing, CPR, anything, any situation that could happen, just following the prompts that the trainer is giving you, the situation that's happening. And then it always ends with Reedy Creek coming and taking over. Those are like golden words. Those are like the words you wait for and you're like, please let this be over. Reedy Creek is the fire department and the like ambulance emergency people that come to help anybody on property, anybody who's injured or hurt. They will come and help, but the people who are working need to attend to the guests before Reedy Creek can come, and lifeguards can stop giving care to a guest when Reedy Creek comes and takes over. So once your group has finished and Reedy Creek came and took over, the trainer will pull your group to the side, tell you if you passed or failed, what you did right, what you did wrong, and explained why, and like told you how to fix it. 2 groups of ours failed, thankfully. We were good, but the 2 groups that did fail retook it at the end and they passed and we're good. Once your turn is over, you get to like chill in the pool, just help out whatever the trainer needs you to do. And then once that group is like on the pool deck doing CPR and stuff, you're just like chilling in the pool having a good time. So it is like kind of fun and relaxing, but also if you haven't gone yet, you're like kind of hyperventilating and hoping that you do well. So yeah, and then after everybody passed the on the pool deck portion of the KAPA, it was lunchtime, and then after lunch we did rescue breathing and CPR scenario tests. I don't know what the real name of it is, but it's basically what you did on the pool deck after backboarding, just on a bob with a trainer giving you prompts and stuff, so they know you know what to do without a group helping you. So this is how it was set up. So everybody was on one side of the room, the other side had 2 trainers, and each trainer had 2 bobs for 2 people to go and be tested. And the trainers were like sitting in chairs with like clipboards, like watching your every move and like writing stuff down. So you're like, was I wrong? Was I right? They try not to be, they're not intimidating, but the situation is kind of intimidating. So the trainer will call you over. I think they went alphabetically. They split the alphabet. I think they did it by first name. I was one of the last people to go. I might have been the last group to go. I think it was nerve-wracking. That was tough. That was tough to wait and see everybody pass and you're just waiting to go. I remember people were outside practicing. I think Bethany and we studied for a little bit, but then we just like started talking and started like just waiting to go. If you overthink it, sometimes that's not good. Sometimes you'll psych yourself out. My advice, relax, be studied, you know what to do, and I'll tell you some more tips later, but let's keep going. So once you get called, you go over, they say you come across an adult or child unconscious on the pool deck. What do? You carry out the scenario. Usually they'll put you through everything. So they'll go through rescue breathing, CPR, blocked airway, anything else. Oh, and then like trauma bag with AED and oxygen and everything. Oh, and then you also had to do an adult, and then you had to do child, and I think you had to do infant. I think you had to do all 3. Maybe there wasn't enough time and we only did 2. Like maybe we just did adult and infant, but be prepared for all of it, because the first portion on the pool deck could have been a child, could have been an adult, could have been an infant, so you need to know all of it anyway. And then once they say Reedy Creek comes and takes over, they tell you if you pass or fail, tell you what you went wrong. I remember I couldn't get a good seal on my bob. My breaths weren't going in. Like the thing that you use, the chest will actually rise and fall if you put a breath into it, and mine wasn't, and I was like freaking out. I remember him telling me that like your seal wasn't right, and then he told me, and then I was like, oh, now I get it, and I still passed. So you can mess up. That's kind of like a big thing too, to like mess up, and I still passed. That's probably because I knew everything else, but my technique wasn't the best yet. And then since you're with somebody else, they're giving you the same scenario, so you have somebody else beside you who's doing it, and sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. Don't go off of what the other person is doing. Go off of your brain, your knowledge of the matter. But if you are stuck and you look over to them and you think they're doing it right, by all means go do it. And then if you're wrong, you'll probably find out later. So just try and be as prepared as possible. And then the last part was a written test. They set up tables and chairs, passed out piece of paper and pencils. I don't remember this for the life of me. I think it was multiple choice. It was a couple pages, maybe it was 30 questions, maybe it was 40, I don't remember, but this was like not a big deal. Nobody was talking about this. The other two parts were like the big deal. And I do remember if you got 100%, you got like a keychain or like a fancy whistle or something. I did not get 100%, so I don't remember, but I remember being jealous of the people who did get 100%. And then after the written test, you are done, my friend. We had some extra time, so they actually set up the TV and we watched any like lifeguard scene from a movie or a TV show or SNL. We watched the Office scene.
Staying alive, staying alive.
We watched the SNL skit with Will Ferrell and Jim Carrey, maybe. If you have leftover time, they will keep you till 5, but they'll just have you like watch some funny lifeguard stuff. And that's Ellis. I hope this is helpful. Okay, so some Ellis tips. Here we go. What to wear. So the girls have to wear one pieces. I didn't own a one piece, so I got one at Target, and it wasn't like super athletic, super lifeguardy, and it was fine. Other girls were wearing like normal swimsuits that you wouldn't necessarily lifeguard in. Just like try not to like wear like any like sparkly or with zippers or anything unprofessional looking, I guess. I don't think they would make you go change, but yeah, just wear a bathing suit that you feel comfortable in and isn't too wild. And then for the classroom, so one of the biggest things I always tell people if they're going to recert is if you're in recreation, you have to go every year back to Ellis for one day and be tested again to make sure you know everything. I told people if they're going to recert or if they were going to like deep water training, if they were shallow or something, I would say wear long pants, because you will be doing CPR and rescue breathing on the floor, on a bob, on a partner for hours, and your knees and your legs will get scuffed up because it is carpet, but it's like hard carpet, and your lower body will hurt. They did have foam knee pads, not that you actually put on your knee, but just to like put your knees on. That helped a little, but still wear leggings or wear sweatpants or something to help protect your knees because you will need it. Like I said, you will be practicing CPR and rescue breathing with a partner for a lot of it, and in the water you will be close and personal with people in your group. So my suggestion, find a buddy that you feel comfortable with to do everything with, just to like save yourself some stress. If you're worried about backboarding somebody, possibly touching their butt, make sure you're comfortable with that. I don't know, you're literally like over somebody pretending to give them CPR for a long time, so make sure you find somebody you feel comfortable with. Another basic thing, wear sunscreen. That seems dumb to say, but people came back after the first day like burnt red, and I was like, what are you doing? Also, for the girls, try not to wear eye makeup. Some girls had mascara that was like running down their face. I wore like concealer and face sunscreen, and that was about it. If you're nervous about not wearing makeup, don't be. Nobody's wearing makeup. You don't have to wear makeup. Okay, another like basic thing, pay attention. Try to ask questions because it is very tiring and you are getting up early. They tell you during like the classroom session, if they're like going over a PowerPoint or something, or they're showing you a video, they tell you if you like feel sleepy and you're like starting to like fall asleep, to get up and walk around. That's a good tip because they go over so much and they go over it so quickly. If you do accidentally like fall asleep or zone out, you're gonna miss stuff, so pay attention. Okay, lunch. I brought my own lunch. They have microwave and a fridge in the trainer's office. You are allowed to go off campus, go back to your apartment or whatever to have lunch. They are very, very adamant about you have to be back on time. So you never know with traffic. Unless you live in Patterson or Chatham, then it's literally across the street, so you should be fine. But yeah, that's how lunch worked. Okay, really quickly, some KAPA tips. The trainers want you to pass. They don't want to have to teach you again. They don't want you to have to waste another 3 days before you can go start working. They aren't there to trip you up. They aren't there to fool you or trick you. Everything that they test you on, you have practiced, you have gone over. And like I said, they won't fail you over little things. We messed up a couple things on the pool, and then I messed up a couple things in CPR, and I messed up a couple of questions, and I still passed. Good to go. The only reason that you wouldn't pass is if you have absolutely like no idea what you're doing. Like you don't know any of the steps, you don't know any of the counts, you don't know any of the numbers, you don't know anything. That's basically the only way that you will fail. Okay, I definitely missed things. I hope this explained Ellis lifeguard training a little bit better. If I missed anything and you know I missed something or I got something wrong, let me know down in the comments. But yeah, hopefully that helped. I know that information would have been very, very helpful to have when I did Ellis. So yeah, let's go on to on-the-job training. So day 1 of on-the-job training. For me, it was in the morning, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I was with a trainer named Matt, who was an international college programmer, and I was his first trainee, and he literally left like 2 weeks after that, and I think he trained like 4 people, so he was a little bit nervous, which made me nervous. Maybe not nervous, but just like not very personable compared to like my other 2 days. My first day was like kind of like rigid, and he was making sure he did everything. He wasn't a bad trainer. It wasn't like my favorite day ever, and I also was alone, which probably went into it a lot. My other 2 days I had another person training with me, so that probably didn't help. Okay, so this is the first day. You were actually in costume, shirt, shorts, hip pack, whistle, hat, shoes, everything. And I remember later in my program, somebody came and was on their first day of training, and they had literally nothing. They had no costume, no blue ID, no lunch, no money to buy lunch, no hip pack, literally nothing. And don't do that. Be prepared. Obviously they helped him and they got him everything he needed, but they weren't necessarily happy that he came in with literally nothing. So yeah, be a good trainee, be prepared, have all your stuff, and if you don't, be proactive about it and try to get a whistle if you don't have one. Tell them you don't have your blue ID right away. And if you don't know who to tell, literally any other cast member you see, they will help you. Whether it's another lifeguard, a leader, a coordinator, children's activities, they will help you. So don't be afraid to speak up. Okay, so yeah, on the job training was so much more relaxed and chill than Ellis, because you already know all your lifeguard skills. Now you're just learning how things work at your resort or water park. So for me, first day I watched them open the pool. I got a folder of important information that I kept. That's me. It had like information about the resort, information about the leaders, little cards like cheat sheets that had the opening and closing spiel, radio codes, the stands, like a little picture of the pool deck with where the lifeguard stands were, and they were laminated so you could keep them in your hip pack. Okay, so day 1, we did stuff on the pool deck. We learned everything there is to know about the pool deck, where the stands are, what's on the stands, how to use the radio, how many trauma bags you got, how many backboards you got, where the towel bins are, how you set up the chairs, how you put up the umbrellas. They also try to prepare you for any guest questions that you could have on stand. So like where the closest restroom is, where the quick service is, where anything in the lobby is, where some of the room numbers are even. So yeah, they try and give you all of that information so you are prepared for any guest question. The age-old question, are magic bands waterproof? And then a lot of the time is spent by the trainer going in with the vat and making sure you can see it all the way around. If there's any blind spots, where to stand so you can see the blind spots. Like if you have stairs and if you stand in one particular spot you can't see the stairs, or if you can't see under the slide, stuff like that, so you know every inch of your water. They help you go over that, and they'll do that by having you like turn around, and then they'll lay a vat, and then you'll turn back around, scan, see it, blow your whistle, jump in. So yeah, that is all part of day 1. You also practice just scanning a lot. You learn the rotation, how to read the rotation. You also learn how to clock in and out, where to clock in and out, where you eat lunch, where you can put your lunch, any like little day-to-day thing that you might need to know. And then you will also practice rescue breathing and CPR on a bob again, because that will be part of your on-the-job training kappa. We also spent a significant amount of time reading the OG, I think that's what it's called. I think it stands for something guidelines, official guidelines maybe, and it's basically literally the manual, the rule book, the handbook. Any situation that could happen is written out. There are rules for everything, so if you have a question or something comes up that you don't know about, you could reference this. It's on the hub. After this training I never opened it again. It's a lot of chapters to read through. It's just part of the training that you have to do, but it's not a big deal if you don't remember every single word. It's just part of training. And the last thing we did that day was kind of go over what the kappa will be like, and we also filled out an evaluation. The trainer filled out one and I filled out one. That's it for day 1. Obviously you're with your trainer the whole time and they just guide you through it. You just have to follow them, do what they say. Day 2 of on-the-job training. This was an afternoon shift for me. It was 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. with Kelsey and Sam. Kelsey was my trainer and Sam was with me. They became 2 of my closest friends at work. And so day 2, you're basically going over everything from day 1. You're practicing scanning on the pool deck, you're practicing EAP, you're practicing rescue breathing and CPR again. again. Anything that you didn't do in the first day, you do on day 2. We did read more of the OG. We had to finish the like assigned chapters, and we also practiced jumping in and getting bats again in the dark, so you can see what it looks like in the dark with the pool lights on. So yeah, that's day 2. And we also went over the kappa again. After that day, I had an off day, and then the following day I had my kappa, my test out. So yeah, day 3 was the kappa, and it was 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for me. I actually had IST scheduled before it. Why? Literally, it shouldn't have been this way, because I explain it because I actually filmed it for you in real time, like I should have with all the stuff I just said. I actually filmed it the day after it happened, so here is that footage. Hopefully I explain it really well. Are we focused? Am I focused? All right, what's up guys? So today is, what day is it? Today is Wednesday, May 30th, and today was my last day of on-the-job training. So hopefully by now I have filled you in on what Ellis Lifeguard training was and what my first 2 days of location training looked like. Today was my KAPA, which stands for Knowledge and Performance Assessment, and it is the last day of your on-the-job training. I think most roles have them. I could be wrong though. But for lifeguards, it consisted of 3 parts. So before I talk about what the KAPA was, there's something on my lens. Oh my, what is that? Okay, I'm wasting time. Anyway, before I had my KAPA this morning, I had ISC, which is in-service training. Now, in-service training you have to do 4 times a month. It is the end of May, so usually people don't have in-service training until after their KAPA. I don't know why myself and 2 other CPs had it today. People said it's never happened before, and it won't count towards our June, like our 4 times in June, because it's still May. But we had ISC this morning. I got there at 7:04, and it didn't start till 7:45 because the next bus would get there at 7:40, and that's not enough time. So yeah, I got there pretty early. I sat in the cafeteria and ate a bagel and yogurt, so that was fine. It was raining all day today, but IST is basically a review of your Ellis training, so it's not as intense as your first 3 days of Ellis training. It's just reviewing. So we had let's see, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 of us in IST, a coordinator teaching it or like leading it, and another coordinator being the lifeguard on duty, making sure nobody got hurt during it. But yeah, so we just reviewed what we had previously learned in Ellis training, which was first we did CPR, and then we did practicing our rescues, and then we practiced, say I was saving someone in the deepest part of our pool, which is 5 feet, and I couldn't touch, and I had to start rescue breathing. I don't know why I'm telling you this. It was, we've never done it before. We did something we've never done, and it was fine. It was whatever. Anyway, after IC, oh, by the way, we had to get in with our full costume on. We couldn't just use our swimsuit. I think it's a newish rule. So I was soaking wet for the entire day, starting at 7:45. And it was 7:45 until 8:45. It's 1 hour. We need 4 hours every month. And then after IST, our KAPA started at 9. Myself and Gabby, she's part-time or full-time, I don't know. But we both had Jimmy, who's awesome. And then Megan, who's another CP who was in all my other classes, all my other training, she was with Kelsey. Now let's get into the lifeguard KAPA portion. For the lifeguard KAPA, there were 3 parts. First part was the written part. You can't fail this unless you get every question wrong, which I promise you, you will not get every question wrong. We took ours in the computer lab. I don't know why. It was raining out, and we walked all the way to the computer lab when we could have just done it in the marina, but it's fine. I think Jimmy was trying to kill time because it usually doesn't take 4 hours. But oh, ours took 5 hours. We were supposed to get off at 1, but we got off at 2. Anyway, it's not a big deal. But yeah, first part was a written part that they'll go over with you. The second part was CPR, which is the exact same as your Ellis training. Going over adult, child, and infant CPR, which we practiced in the morning with in-service training. You practice it during on-the-job training. If you've passed Ellis, that's not a big worry at all. You can trip up a bunch of little things and you'll be fine still. The third part is the part that is the biggest performance, which is getting a vat out of the water. Are the roomies here? No. The third part is getting a vat out of the water and carrying out your EAP, your emergency action plan. My arm's getting tired. There were 3 of us that were doing our KAPAs at one point, and since there are 3 stands on the pool, each of us got a stand, and each one of us jumped in and got a vat and had to carry out, I just burped, carry out the EAP. If you don't see your VAT, you could fail it, but you will get another chance. That happened today. One of us, not myself, did not see the VAT in time, and she just redid it and she got the next one in time and she passed. It was all good. So yeah, that's all the kappa for lifeguards, at least at my location. I'm assuming all resort kappas are the same. Blizzard Beach and Typhoon are probably different. They definitely have more stands and more stuff to know, but I don't know if there's any like additional parts. So yeah, lifeguard kappa, written assessment, CPR, getting a VAT from the water, and carrying out EAP. It's pretty simple. You have 2 full days of training before that where they go over everything. And for my resort, it is not difficult to remember. There's 3 stands. I think that's all I have to tell you about it. It was raining literally right after we finished our kappa. They closed the pool for lightning. So that was good. We didn't have to like stop and wait. I think they wanted us to finish before they closed it. So that was nice. Thanks guys. So yeah, then I came home. We didn't get to eat while we were there. Oh, also, after you all pass, we were filling out evaluations. We had to like do 3 things on the hub to like accept our position, I guess. It was like filling out just like, I understand that these are my responsibilities, blah blah blah, yes yes yes, submit, that type of thing on the hub. And then we also talked with our proprietor and one of our leaders. It was called an expectation talk, and they just told us all the businessy kind of stuff, like how to call out or ooh. Okay, and apparently I didn't finish that. I think my roommates came home and we just started like talking and hanging out, and I forgot to finish. So the expectations talk went over how to call out, how to check your schedule, how to trade shifts, what they expect from you as a lifeguard, how to make sure you have all of your ISTs done. And that's about it for that expectations talk. And after that, we got to leave. So I think I have officially talked about everything. I hope this was helpful for any of you who are going to be a Disney lifeguard, who have never done it before, who have never been through any type of lifeguard training. Like that was me. So I really hope you got something out of this. And if you've watched this whole way through and you have nothing to do with lifeguarding, wow. Thank you. That's a lot. So let's finish out this video by finishing that day where I was talking to you. Like I said, I filmed every day, so let's just jump back into May 30th, 2018, what we were doing, what we were up to. It's copyright! What's up guys? So it's a little later now and we're having fam time. We all just ate dinner, had a little laughing time. We're past it, we're good to go.
No, because the way I noticed the most of lyrics just knew your concrete jungle wet dream tomato.
It's a few hours later. I have a clear face mask on. We're not going to talk about the few hours that just went down. I was a train wreck. Couldn't stop laughing. My face mask is clear. Sierra's is paper. Yes. It won't go in your nose.
We are home. I'm home with everybody, mostly everybody. We're gonna play some Uno now with the family. Haley has calmed down a little.
And now we're playing Uno, a nice little fam game. I wish we had more games. Like, sorry, like board games would be really fun, but Uno's good. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna play Uno now.
23.
17. You're doing good, Haley.
Only in the 20s.
17?
Well, I was doing great until someone swapped hands.
Ramon!
No. I don't know this
Teach
one.
us him how.
Duck!
Yes.
Throw up.
Ooh, with a hunchback.
Quasimodo.
No.
Esmeralda.
Oh my god. Chip and
Dale.
No, that was
Mrs. Teapot.
oh, we got the
Dole Whip.
Yes.
and shit.
Pumbaa and
Timon.
Yes.
I'm depressed.
it's like Winnie the Pooh's friend that's depressed.
He's an elephant.
Eeyore.
And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I really hope I went over everything. So yeah, if I did miss anything, if you were a lifeguard and I missed something, please let me know. I wanted this to be like a full Disney lifeguarding video, everything you need to know. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe because there will be more Disney videos coming your way very, very soon. And that's it. Thank you so much. Goodbye.